Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com. I've made a new pick a card read for you. What are your blocks to union with your person or the person that is meant for you, even if you haven't met them yet? Now, I've made 3 readings here. It's a timeless reading. Whenever you get into it is good. Each one of them has got a deeper dive to it. That's an extended reading that goes with it. So if you find that it is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. And that's where you can also find your timestamps to fast forward to your reading. So all you need to do now is take your pick. Which one would you like? Would you like the crystal? Crystal is out with the Trust Kitty. This is Safi. She's all about trust. Or would you like the flower? And the flower is out with Sapphire, who's all about generosity. Or would you like the shell? And the shell is out with Shadow, the vulnerable kitten. So take your pick now. Don't forget to click like as you're watching this video down there. Click on that subscribe button if you're new, and share these videos with your friends that might be interested in it as well. I do a daily energy update for every single day of the year, including full moons and new moons. Check that out on my channel. I also go live 3 times a week at my Psychic Cafe show, where I give 1-question readings. Now, you can book in for those 1-question readings on my website, BeHealing.com. I'll pop a link for it in the description box below, and also one up there too. After you've booked in, I will do the reading in the next live show, which I said is 3 times a week, so never too far away. And then send you the link to the replay. So I'll do it right at the start of the show, and then you can watch it back, or you can come along live for that show where I give a twin flame reading there as well. Come along live, book in for one of those 1-question readings while I'm live. I also do 3 of these pick a card reads a week as well, and I offer private readings from my website, BeHealing.com. You can find a link for that in the description box below, and also one up there too. I get those out within 48 hours if you're ordering them. You can choose between a general guidance reading where you can ask questions, love reading, what's going on for you, what's going on for them, and stuff like that. Full Celtic Cross tarot spread as well. Or your next 5 steps. What are your next 5 steps forward? So book in for one of those if you want one of those private readings. Otherwise, take your pick now. Crystal, flower, or shell. And I'll see you in your reading. So if you chose the crystal and this one's for you, crystals, let's find out what your blocks to union are. So what's holding you? What is blocking you, keeping you away from coming into union with your person, whether you've met that person or not already? Let's find that out. Now, as usual, crystals, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That's an extended reading that goes with this. If you find that this is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So let's get straight into it and find out what your blocks to union are. Let's see. Now, these might be your blocks and it might be your person's blocks as well. So keep an open mind about it all. If I bring up one, you know, and you're like, no, that's not me at all, I don't have that going on, it could be a person that's got that going on. Or this might not be your reading. Pick one of the other ones. Waffling while the cards are taking their time coming out. Let's see what it is. Okay, so we've got memories of the forgotten self. So something from the past. Something from the past that perhaps isn't in the forefront of your memory, that is still impacting you and causing some kind of a block. Let's see. What are the blocks? Blocks for crystals to union with their person. Trust issues. So something from the past that you're not necessarily remembering, causing trust issues. Have you had a lot of trust issues, crystals? It might be either of these. I'm going to have to take them both because I'm not sure which it is. Maybe it's some of them for you and some of them for someone else that's watching this. We've got chance and reflect. So perhaps a time when you thought you were lucky, and on reflection it wasn't lucky at all. And it's like every experience that we have has got its positives and negatives, right? And it could be something that happened in the past that you thought was really lucky, but it actually had a a bad impact on you that caused trust issues in you. Optimism and patience. So for some of you are we're optimistic. We're optimistic for a long time and are kind of losing patience with that optimism. So your optimism is waning about somebody coming in, someone that's right for you. Now, what I know to be true in this whole movement toward anything, whether it's relationship or anything else that we want in our lives, there's always a healing path to it. That's why a lot of my books are called The Healing Path too. Check them out on Amazon, because there is always a healing path to it. There's always like ways that we need to get in alignment with a person that can have that kind of thing, or that will choose that kind of thing, or that will, be able to handle that kind of thing. Yeah, so some of you, this might be coming out in like your optimism waning, but there's something else behind it, There is. Now, it could be that something that you thought was lucky in the past was actually, upon reflection, was not actually a good thing for you and caused trust issues. Tell us more about it. So the Four of Pentacles, there you are, holding your energy back. So there's something that is causing you to hold your energy back from your person. You're not out there, heart wide open, heart on your sleeve, meeting new people with your heart wide open and like eager to get into relationships. You're not that. And I'm not suggesting that is a good way to be. There's a balance. There's a balance to be had. This might be saying that you are more out of balance in the shutdown, trust issues, holding people away from you, not letting them in. We've got the Three of Swords, heartbreak. So previous heartbreak. Again, it might not be apparent to you, this one. And the King of Wands. This is a very attractive kind of a person. It's a go-getter. It's someone, a mover, a shaker, someone that is highly regarded by other people as well. So if it is that kind of someone in the past that you were kind of lucky to be with, you thought that you were lucky to be with, were you really? Were you really? Did they love you right? Or were they just kind of good on paper and other people like thought, oh wow, you were with that person, you were so lucky, kind of thing. Might be someone that wasn't actually that great to be with, relationship-wise, even though it looked like you were lucky on the surface of it. Like perhaps someone really wealthy. When people say, oh wow, you're so lucky to be with that one. I don't know about you, but I've been out with some wealthy guys and not so lucky. Not that it's got anything to do with their wealth or not. It's all about their emotional state, emotional maturity, and how they are able to relate and be in relationships. So, Four of Pentacles, let's get into this. So you're holding your energy back. Eight of Voices. Eight of Voices, kind of trapped. Okay, Six of Inspiration. Six of Inspiration is being seen as successful. It's something about, there was something in the past, a relationship in the past is what it feels like, where you're still considering yourself that you were lucky to be in it, but you weren't. That's the thing. This Six of Inspiration is about being seen to be successful. It's not necessarily you're feeling successful in that, but you're being seen to be successful, right? It's like being in a relationship that feels terrible to you because they're not loving you and you're not in love with them, but everyone else is telling you, wow, you've got such an amazing relationship. It's that kind of a scenario here. And you felt trapped in it. You felt trapped in it. You might have even been asking yourself, why doesn't it feel amazing to me? You might have been telling yourself that you were wrong, that your feelings were wrong, like that this should be amazing and there's something wrong with me, that I'm not feeling it. You might have even ended it. And so there's a part of you that isn't trusting, that's holding your energy back, isn't trusting the bright shiny objects, the ones that actually might be good for you, but because they've got something that reminds you of that person, it keeps you away from them. This is like a block of being with someone that's really great. It's like, no, I don't want to be with the really great people. It's that kind of a block. I don't want to be with the really great ones now because it doesn't feel good. Those relationships don't really feel good. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that unless you get into a relationship with them. So you got self-love behind that. You could have been in like a self-love, or could be in a self-love period at the moment, holding your energy back because of that. But there's something deeper to get from that. You know, sometimes we have this excuse that's like, no, I'm good by myself. I'm just in this self-love thing and my life is my own and I'm really enjoying it now being by myself. But there's an undercurrent to that. There's a deeper truth to that, is that I'm afraid of putting myself out there, because when I go, I'm afraid of going for the ones that are truly at my level, the ones that are shining, the ones that are great, because of previous experience that I've had with somebody like that. People can look great on the surface and not have the emotional stuff going on, but that doesn't mean that people that are great on the surface don't have emotional maturity too. But how are you going to know if they've got emotional maturity if you don't allow yourself to go there and get into that relationship? Three of Swords. So previous heartbreak. Tell us about the previous heartbreak. Could have been about moving on. What about movement forward? So you could have felt moving. It could be someone that was moving forward, wanting to move forward with you, wanting something more secure and all of that. Everyone else could have been saying, oh yeah, this is great. And you could have been turning it down because of the way that they were making you feel. You might, I'm really getting this strongly, that you might have been asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? Why don't I want this? This is what I've been asking for. What is wrong with me? You know, and you might have even been asking yourself, why am I not attracted to or wanting to be with the good ones? It could be about that too. But they're not good ones if it's not making you happy, and if you're not getting that loving feeling, you know. Sexual energy is behind that too. Sexual energy behind that too. So yeah, it could be someone that was really good looking, but wasn't great to be in relationship with, but they wanted to be with you. May not necessarily have been faithful to you. King of Wands. They are very attractive. The King of Wands. Tell us about this King of Wands. The Knight of Emotions. They came to you with a romantic offer, so they were perhaps sweeping you off your feet kind of thing. Could have even been a love bomber. They had their eye on you. Justice. They appeared to be at your level. Awakening. They woke something up in you. It's giving you a fear that there was something right about this person. There was a lot right about this person. But there was something that was not right about them too for you. This and that can be true at the same time, you know. Meaning, I had a recent experience with someone. It was kind of stalking me, pursuing me for years, in fact, and then causing trouble in my life. And I finally detached myself completely and just got away from that person. And someone asked me, oh, why aren't you going there anymore? And I explained, it's because of this. And she said, wow, he's really nice. Seems really nice. I said, he is really nice. And he did that too. You know, it doesn't make them not a nice person. It doesn't make, this and that can be true at the same time, you know. We don't have to, people aren't all bad or all good. I think we're talking about a contradiction here. It's seeming contradiction, but it's not a contradiction at all. Someone had more than that going on. So they had a lot of good things going on. And I see now, you know, why you might have been questioning yourself, like, why don't I want this person? This person seems to have everything that it is that I want, but I don't want this person. What is wrong with me? It's giving you trust issues. Emotional release. So perhaps you might have met somebody, or you might have someone coming your way that is all of this and a bag of chips, and they're right for you. And your fears because of what went on previously are like, it's me that can't do this. I can't have a relationship with somebody like that. I don't get the feelings, and I want to have the feelings. It feels like that to me. It feels like that's the kind of situations that you're not trusting yourself. But I think there's a need to revisit that, not physically, that relationship, but in your mind, revisit that and ask yourself, like, do the pros and cons list. Write all the good things and acknowledge those, that there were good things about them, but it doesn't mean that they're the right person for you if they didn't have these other things, or if they weren't making you feel a certain kind of a way. You've got to wait, don't rush into it, allow nature to take its course. So some of you might be saying stuff like that, the self-love stuff, like I'm waiting, I'm taking it slowly, but what you're really doing is pulling back from it. Because of this subconscious fear that you don't have what it takes to have a relationship, everything that you need in a relationship with someone that's right for you. Like there's something defective in you, and there isn't. That's the thing, there isn't. Take a breather. Take a reality check. So slow things down, take a breather, take a reality check. You need to see something really clearly here. As I said, this and that can be true. That's very important for you to know in this reading. It's true about us too, you know? We can be great people, right? I would consider myself a great person. You can trust me. I would do the right thing by people for sure. But there's this other side of me too, that if somebody crosses me, or if someone has got really bad energy, say they're abusing other people or stuff like that, they shouldn't trust me. That's when I become a not trustworthy person, just to that person, right? That person should not trust me, because I will cross them right back, and I will not be vengeful or go after them or anything like that. But in any kind of a situation, they shouldn't trust me, because say if I see them abusing somebody, I will do whatever. I don't care if I lie to that person or if I manipulate them in some kind of a way to protect someone else. I would do that. I'm not, you know, I'm quite a warrior in that way, even though I'm a very peaceful person, right? A peaceful warrior. So, and it's all true about me. That's true about me, and I don't make any excuses about that. And so you might be able to find contradictions within yourself, seeming contradictions, but they're not contradictions at all, because it depends on context, right? You've got spy and friendship. You could have your eye on someone at the moment, someone that you're kind of keeping in your friend zone, someone that you're looking at. Page of Voices. Could be someone that you're very attracted to as well. That could be it too as well. It's like you could have pursued this one in the past and then it didn't work out. And you're afraid of pursuing this one because it seems too good to be true. Too good for you. Ooh. Lucky. You see? It's like, oh, you're so lucky with this one, and that makes you go, ugh. The reminders of the past when you were lucky that time, when everyone told you that you were lucky, and it wasn't. Could have been a controlling person as well in the past. Remember, this and that can be true too. They could have been a great person, but in the romantic relationship, they could have been controlling. Not allowed you to do certain things, or made you feel bad for being yourself or doing certain things. I've had relationships like that, where on the surface of it, I was like, great, they're great. This person's great. Behind closed doors, though, whenever I'd say, like, I want to do this thing, I want to see my friends, there'd be this, like, look of disappointment, look of pain on the face, like, I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to do what I want. Very unsupportive kind of a relationship to me and my needs and what I wanted and what was good for me. It's like really subtle control by giving a disappointed look or a hurt kind of a look, just for me wanting to do something, you know, for myself. So this can be very, very subtle, this control and the way that it plays out. It doesn't have to be like huge, grandiose, narcissist controlling, you know, keeping you in the house under lock and key. It doesn't have to be big like that. But there's just this underlying feeling that this person, the previous one, I mean, was controlling you. You weren't lucky at all, right? Even though everyone was telling you that you were lucky. Focus on love. Look for the good in everyone. Right, so looking for the good in everyone, but we need to be balanced, right? And look at someone as a whole entity of everything that they are, not just some of the things. Let's get some message cards. I want some message cards out from the past person, some truth from that past person for you. This isn't your current person, this is your past person, so don't get these messed up, because I think that you are thinking that your current person is going to be like your past person. This is the messages from your past person, because I think that's more valuable in this reading. Your past person, they found you incredibly attractive, so they wanted to be with you, like arm candy kind of thing. I am getting an attractiveness from this, so you could have appeared like the beautiful couple, ideal for each other, so lucky to have each other. Perhaps wasn't that on the inside, inside of that relationship, you know? Your past person says one-sided relationship. I think you were loving this person right. They perhaps weren't loving you right, but on the surface of it, it looked like they were good for you. And then you were rejecting them, which made you the wrong one. But you were the one feeling like unloved in the relationship. It's something like that. I feel terrible for hurting you. I feel bad for it. Okay. So yeah, not grandiose narcissist or anything like that. No major control there. Feeling bad for hurting you. Perhaps not realizing what they were doing. Perhaps not knowing themselves very well. Being able to work through these things, you know, not taking ownership of their emotional state or what they had going on, the patterns that they had going on. It was an unhealthy attachment. Attachment, there's the word, right? Attached. They were attached to you and it wasn't healthy. Mental health issues. That could be where that control came from as well. And I wish you knew how grateful I am to have met you. So they were happy to be with you. You see, like I say, it's like this and that were true. But I think when you get to the bottom of this past relationship and really understand it for what it was, and then release that, any guilt or any feeling like there was something wrong with you for not being able to make that work, I think that's what's going to set you free and allow you to release that block and then get into the relationship that you really want, because they are going to look good and you are going to feel lucky to be with that person, right? So there you go. That's what I've got for you. If that sounds like it is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, you might want to get that deeper dive. In there, I'm going to go into guidance for you in this situation you find yourself in. Now, headed toward this relationship that you want to be in, or the one that you haven't met yet. Yeah, same relationship that you want to be in. So guidance for you in the situation you find yourself in right now. And then guidance for you and them together, your new person, the person that you're meant to be with. What are the dynamics in that relationship? Are there any red flags there? Is there anything that you need to look at there? How can you make it work really well? And also how this might all play out with your new person as well. If you're interested in that, I'll pop a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. It's 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars right now, and it's an instant watch kind of a thing. You do need to type your email address in very carefully, because if you get that wrong, you will not receive it. The email, it might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, your junk, or your promotions folder, so do check in those places. In that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on the crystal on a device that you can open PDFs with. In that PDF, amongst other things, you'll see a picture of a video. And when you click on that, if it doesn't take you right away to another video, then try it on a different device and it will do. So thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to click like. Before you click off down there, click that subscribe button if you're new. And share this video with your friends as well that might be interested in it. And if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with this. If you're coming with me to that deeper dive read, then I'll see you in there very shortly. So if you chose the flower, then this was for you. Flowers, let's find out, what is your block to union? What is stopping you guys from getting together? Let's find out. So as usual, flowers, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That's an extended reading that goes with it. If you find that it is your story, it could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So let's find out what your blocks to union are. This could be your blocks, it could be their blocks. Take it as it resonates. So if something comes out in this reading and you're like, no, I've not got that going on at all, it could be your person that's got that going on. You don't have to have met your person yet. It could be the person that's coming your way. Some of you have been single for ages and kind of waiting for the right person to show up in your life, which also indicates that you might have blocks to that. Okay, here we go. I can start waffling now. The cards are coming out. The Noble One. Okay, so doing the right thing. Okay. Now, some of you are actually hindering yourself from getting into a relationship because you're trying to do the right thing. You might be trying to do the right thing by everyone else. Now, what is the right thing? Whose rules as well? Are you doing the right thing? Some of you might have... Your person might be someone that has been connected with one of your friends before, saying you might have rules around that, like, I can't be with this person because that's a no-go kind of thing. Or what else? The Noble One, keeping you away, doing the right thing is stopping you from being with them. So I don't know, let's get some more cards out and find out. You'll know if it's true for you. Could also be someone that's in relationship with someone else as well that isn't making those decisions to leave, and they should be. The relationship isn't working anymore and they're not following the heart. It could be something like that too. We've got generosity here. It might be you, this actually, being too generous, but doing the right thing, being too generous, letting other people carry on with what they're doing instead of doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? So someone, say someone is in a terrible relationship and you want to be with them and you really love them and they really love you, and they're choosing to stay in this terrible relationship. Well, we've got a whole load of Noble One things here that are standing in the way, right? Why are they staying in that terrible relationship? Well, it might be because they're the Noble One. They're doing the right thing by that person, or feeling like that they're doing the right thing by that person, financially or whatever, to take care of children. It could be something like that. And yeah, you could be doing the right thing by not, pursuing them, like doing the right thing by like standing back and letting them make that decision to change their life first, and you don't want to step in because that's not your place, that kind of thing. You got a whole load of doing the right thing going on in there, right? You might be being too generous here, too generous with people. What's to say the right thing isn't to get in there and call it out and going, hey, this is messed up. You guys need to do something about this, right? That might be the right thing to do. We just don't know, right? Who's to say? Choose wisely. Perhaps you are making good decisions for yourself though. And you need to ask within, like, is this truly what is right, or am I being too polite? Is this truly what's right for me, or am I being a doormat and not standing up for myself? Is this what's truly right for me, and am I doing the noble thing, or am I just kind of letting other people get away with something, being too generous with them and stepping back, letting other people get their way and me stepping back from what it is that I want? You'll need to ask yourself those things, really. Anyway, let's get some more cards out. So, tell us more about this, the blocks for flowers getting into relationship. Page of Cups. There's something about you here being satisfied with fantasy. So we've got relationship needs as human beings, fundamental relationship needs. We don't thrive, even physically, in our health-wise, if we aren't in relationship. And I'm not saying that you don't need to be. You need to be in a romantic relationship, but there is love and connection that we need. You can get it from community, you can get it from friends and stuff like that, but there are relationship needs that we have. Now, sometimes those, if you're not getting those relationship needs met, in actuality, we can default to letting fantasy be enough. So your fantasy is about someone filling those relationship gaps, almost like you are getting your relationship needs met in your fantasies and in your dreams, rather than facing up to the fact that you're not getting your relationship needs met and then doing something about it. Asking for it, telling them what your relationship needs are and asking them to fulfill them, or go find someone that can. Just let the cat out. Because the sun's come out now, so she can go out. What else have we got? We've got the Seven of Cups. Choice. Many options, but a confusion about choices. This is like, should I move on or shall I wait? Is it going to come good? Justice and the World card. End of a cycle and justice. What is truly meant for you. Start of a new cycle. Something needs to change here to get what is truly meant for you. There's something in that relationship needs as well that's really important. So let's get deeper into that. Page of Cups. I've just got this feeling like the fantasy is you're letting it be enough, and it's not enough for our relationship needs. It's not. Page of Cups. What? Eight of Materials. There's a kind of a reciprocation energy in this. The Eight of Materials. It's when the work that you put in, and when we're talking about relationships, that is our attention to relationships, the love that we've given, that we've focused, that we've got on them, and all of that, where you get a return from it. Right. So what I mean by that is there's different aspects of relationship and love. There is the us loving someone. There's that, us loving someone. That feels good, doesn't it? To have an object of affection, and our love's going from us to them. So we can do that in fantasy. In a fantasy, we've got like this person, I'm in love with them, I'm focused on them. But the Eight of Materials is when that work that you're putting into it, you get back. So you're receiving love back from them. That being loved by someone else, that is what is missing here, right? Being loved by them. And it's those relationship needs that need to be highlighted now, consciously in you, acknowledged that they are important and you need those, and it's not just enough for you to love someone else in your fantasies or just love someone else. There needs to be that coming back to you, that balance coming back to you, and that's important. We can't go without love being coming into us. And so kind of breaking yourself out of this, my fantasies is enough, because in my fantasies I'm still loving on them, I'm focused on them, I'm loving them, and I like that feeling of me loving someone else. I don't need my relationship needs to be met. I don't need them to be loving me. I don't need to be receiving any of that love myself. What is it that you need to receive? Get really clear on that. If you're in like a return relationship, in a relationship where someone's loving you, how does that feel? And some of you haven't experienced that yet, properly being loved by somebody, or you've experienced little bits of it from different people, and you might want to put that big picture together and go, hang on a minute, yeah, these are my relationship needs, and it's not too much to ask, and I shouldn't be getting into relationships with people that are not filling these needs. I shouldn't make it enough. You know, because you can go from this fantasy state of like, oh, it's enough for me to just like focus on someone and be loving them, and that's fulfilling my romantic and relationship needs, but it's not. You're not getting loved by them, and that whole state could get you into the one-sided relationships where you're not receiving back from them, because it's more of the same kind of an energy, you know. So just be careful of that. What's behind that is movement into balance. Needs to move into balance. Your relationship needs are important. So if you think about it, when you're one-sided like that, you're thinking about their relationship needs, you loving them. Just put yourself in their shoes, what they receive from you. Imagine being loved like that, and then get really clear on those things that someone that you love is receiving from you. Get really clear on that, and then put yourself in their shoes and go, okay, well, that's what my relationship needs are. That's what they should be offering to me. Not they should be, that those people that aren't offering that to me should be, but the ones that I want to get into a relationship with, when they're offering that, that's the kind of relationship that I should be getting into. And then the Seven of Cups, then you'll be able to choose more wisely, right? Then you'll just be like, no to the one-sided ones. Oh, you'll let me love you. No, I'm not choosing you. You need to be loving me too. Do you know what I mean? Someone that's offering something. And there's not that many out there. Not that many out there that are actually offering anything that I've noticed. So be careful out there what you're choosing. 7 of Cups. So can you see what I mean? When you're in this fantasy, when you're letting it be enough that you're in this fantasy, it's like, well, I'll just wait for them because I'm in love with them. If that's enough for you, you're likely to get into the relationship and it be one-sided because you're already in that one-sided energy. If you weren't in that one-sided energy, you'd be like, this fantasy isn't enough for me. I'm not receiving love. I'm not getting my needs met in relationship. I'm going to go out and find someone else rather than wait for this person in this fantasy, you know? So, 7 of Cups, choosing better. The Moon and the Wheel of Fortune. Headed into the unknown for fate to come your way, right? Fated connections and unknown connections. It's like, but I'm this one's fated for me. I feel it. I've got this connection with them. Instead of going out there and choosing for yourself. So some of you are believing that you've chosen this fated connection and that it's enough that you'd be loving on them and waiting for them, but they're doing the right thing by being in something else. Or they think they're doing the right thing by being in something else. You've got to choose wisely here. Be discerning. You don't have to keep everything in your net, it says. You don't have to keep everything in your net. You can throw some things out. You can decide, you know what, that's not for me. That's one-sided. It's not for me. And head into the unknown. Self-love. Will you love yourself enough to not just give yourself those things that you're giving other people when you're loving on them, not just doing that for yourself, but love yourself enough to realize that you deserve that from other people too, and be receiving that love from other people. So we've got the Justice in the world. It feels like there needs to be an end here for true balance to come in. The end of a cycle, the start of a new cycle. Why do we have the World card here and the Justice card here? Queen of Voices, yeah. It needs to be an ending. Queen of Voices, drawing up a boundary. And not just a boundary to someone else, not just saying, no, you're not for me. It's more a boundary to yourself, like, oh, I shouldn't do this anymore. This is a pattern that does not serve me. I am not going to do this anymore. I'm no longer open for one-sided relationships anymore. I recognize them now and I'm not going to do it again. I recognize that this is a one-sided relationship that I'm in. You've got home and honoring your energy. So it's a shift. You might think that you've already been doing this, but it feels like you haven't if you've been in this fantasy. You haven't already been doing it, not being honoring your energy, not being realizing that it's still one-sided when it's that fantasy. Never get into something that isn't what you want and then expect it to change or try to change it. Go out there and find what it is that you want instead. Let's get some more out for you. Tell us about flowers blocks to union. Flowers blocks to union. Soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. So some of you might be believing that a person that you're fantasizing about is your soulmate. But ask yourself, if they're your soulmate, wouldn't you be receiving from them? If they were truly your soulmate, you'd be receiving from them, right? Because if they're your soulmate, they can give what you give too, and they will be giving what you give too. They'll be able to do that, and they will. Something to think on anyway. Some of you might be believing you've got a twin flame or a soulmate that just really isn't. It's just a one-sided thing. You've got to take a breather. This card keeps on coming out. So you need to take a break from someone to get some clarity, or take a break from the fantasy to get some clarity. Balance. I thought that was the 55 card there, indicating change, but there's a need for balance here. You need to get more balance. That's what I was getting from that Age of Materials card as well, that there needs to be balance. Like your relationship needs. You might have gone through life not realizing just always thinking about someone else's relationship needs, like they need to be loved and nurtured, and forgetting that you need to be that too. You are one of those people too that needs a love and nurturing. There's memories of freedom. Memories of being free of this. Interesting. Memories of before this person came about for you, because I think very much you guys are focused on somebody here. Memories of before that. Who were you before this person came along? Did this play out with someone else? Is this a repeating pattern and you're not realizing? You might be doing this over and over again. Keep on thinking that you're meeting your soulmate, but it's not viable. And then being satisfied with the fantasy of it. And if you do manage to get into a relationship, it's always a one-sided relationship and you're not receiving from it. It could be a pattern. So think back to when you were free before this person. What happened before that? It could be a rerun. You've got the erotic coming out as well. Now, there's something in that, you know, the fantasy often being more erotic, you know, the waiting and the fantasizing about someone, that to be being with them physically is often the thing that, especially as women, turns us on more than the actual thing itself, actually having them there themselves. There might be something in that fantasy could be, in a weird way, fulfilling your sexual needs more than their actual presence. Because women are more wired that way, you know, the anticipation and the lead up to it is more of a turn on. I'm not saying that the actual thing isn't a turn on, but that if you had the actual thing without the lead up to it, it's going to be not much at all, right? But if you've got the lead up to it, then you can really drive yourself crazy, right? And whether you actually get together in the physical act at the end of it or not. So there could be something about that too, that you might feel like you're getting your needs met because of that fantasy can be more erotic than the actual physicalities of things. Some healing here to do with your heart, and that's because some of you haven't been loved right, and so you're not expecting to be loved. You're not even thinking of your own needs. Some of you your needs weren't prioritized, perhaps as a child in your family, and you just like, you just don't think about your own needs. You're not prioritizing them at all. And so why do you want to get into a relationship if you're not prioritizing your needs? Relationship isn't to serve someone else and love them. It's about your needs too. It's about the reciprocation of that. There's a need to get that balance, you know. Healing your heart, your worthiness of love, you're deserving that, and your needs being important. Embrace your emotions. Some of you got used to like life sucking and you're not receiving much, and you've got good at ignoring those negative emotions from it. And treasure your loved ones. It's important to love others deeply. And it's important for others to love you deeply too. Okay, messages from your person. What do they want to say? You're always on my mind. So they are thinking about you a lot too. There's a mental connection between you both. You make me want to be a better person. I do want to level up because of you. I find you incredibly attractive. I'm very attracted to you. And I'm planning on reaching out to you. So it's like there's some kind of a future focus in them as well with this. Like you're both believing that it's going to come good sometime, someday. What else do they want to say? But you might be waiting forever and never getting your needs met. Please don't move on. You might be waiting forever. Even though they're saying this, it doesn't mean that they're doing anything. There's someone keeping me from you, see? And let's not forget, they're going to keep you as an option in case they ever do, or in case something happens. But that's not truly loving you, is it? Emotionally unavailable. Not even emotionally available for you. That's what I was getting, is this like person is just unavailable. Twin flame journey, but they're believing it's twin flame too. Tricky one. Tricky one. This one. Well, if that sounds like it is your story, it could be a story. You want it to be a story, you might want to get that deeper dive for even more. In that, I'm going to go into guidance for you in the situation you find yourself in right now. So what should you do then? And guidance for you in this relationship, you guys together, when you are together, what are the dynamics between you? How can you make it work really well? And are there any red flags there to look out for? And also how this might all play out with possible timelines. If you're interested in that, I'll pop a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. It's 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars right now, and it's an instant watch kind of a thing. You do need to type your email address in very carefully, because if you get that wrong, you will not receive it. Now, the email, it might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, your junk, or your promotions folder, so do check those places. In that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on the flower on a device that you can open PDFs with. In that PDF, amongst other things, you'll see a picture of a video. And when you click on that, if it doesn't take you right away to a video, just try it on a different device and it will. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like. Before you click off down there, click that subscribe button if you're new. Don't forget to share my videos with other people as well, those that might be interested in it. Thank you for doing that. Get my stuff out there, because this YouTube channel, I might just stop if it's keeping on tanking like it does, because it's a lot of work for very, very little here. Anyway, enough of my worries. Good luck with all of this. If this is where you're leaving me, good luck with it all. And if you're coming with me to that deeper dive read, then I'll see you in there very shortly. So if you chose the shell, and this one's for you, shells, let's find out, what are your blocks to union? What's keeping them away from you, you away from them? What are the blocks? Now, as usual, shells, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That's an extended reading that goes with this. So if you find that this is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So let's find out, what is your block? I'm not convinced it's this card, but let's go with it and see where this heads. The richness within. The richness within. Blocks to union. The richness within. Blocks to union for shells, please. I just feel like I'm on the wrong trajectory here. Let me start again. Let me shuffle these again, because those cards are not willing to come out. What's that one? It's the richness within. No. Okay, it's something that's going on beneath the surface. That's better. That feels like it's the right card now. So something's going on beneath the surface, something that you're not aware of yet, and it's probably emotional stuff. Tell us more, please, guys. There we go. It's vulnerabilities, something that makes you feel vulnerable. Something that isn't apparent, that you've got going on emotionally, makes you feel vulnerable. And you might have got good at really putting a brave face on it, appearing to be good even though you feel vulnerable. And you might have been good at bypassing it, at ignoring it. Of course, when we feel vulnerable, we don't want to like indulge in that feeling. We want to kind of move past it and live our lives and, you know, get together with people and stuff like that, despite our vulnerabilities. And so sometimes we can get really good at bypassing that stuff, at ignoring it, at, you know, just like, yeah, that thing's there, but let's ignore it. Ignoring the elephant in the room kind of thing. Or ignoring the emotion that's always there. I'm just used to it now though, and so I can ignore it and I can kind of function anyway. It reminds me, like, I used to have a lot of social anxiety, and I used to use alcohol to function normally, and it kind of worked for me using that. I never got rid of the feeling that was beneath the surface. It would always come back, and often gets worse with alcohol, in fact, as well, in the other times. But it did work, you know, and that was a workaround, yeah. But it wasn't like as good as sorting those emotional issues out, like actually facing them. And then I didn't need the alcohol anymore. Then it was really easy, because I didn't have that feeling, that need of like, I don't like this anxiousness, I want to have a drink, and then that anxiousness goes. Now I hardly ever drink. Now I hardly ever drink because of it. It's got that kind of a feeling that you've got something running beneath the surface that you're kind of ignoring, an emotional state, but it makes you feel vulnerable. Tell us more. Tell us more. Direction and listen. Trust your inner compass, find your bearings. Listen. The secrets of the sea become apparent when we listen to the sound within the shells. So listening to your direction, the direction that your life is going, there's something... Okay, I've got some questions for you here. Because I'm feeling like the clues here about this are coming out in other aspects of your life too. So questions are, what are you drawn to doing? Like being of service to people? How do you want to help people? And what kind of work would you like to do in that? Or how do you want to help people? Like, yeah, what is your big driver of like how you want to help people, how you want to be there for people and all of that? I think that's the question, because that, if you answer that question, if you can find the answer to that question, that if you listen to that, it's something that you need. It's something that you need, not that other people need. Well, they might need it or not, but that thing that you're trying to give to other people and how you want to help them, that's what you truly need. And that's always true, right? For example, for many, many years, I wanted to, say, be a foster mum, but not just a foster mum, like to be the mother for the people that didn't have a mother, to, you know, whether they're adult or not, to be that loving, nurturing person. I thought I was being that, and I could be that, and it turns out I hadn't done a very good job of it at all, not even for my children, my own children. But it was when I got to this point where I realized, hang on a minute, it's me that doesn't have that. It's me that doesn't have that figure in my life. It's me that hasn't had that loving. It's me that hasn't had that. I need to give that to myself. I need to stop trying to give it to everyone else when I don't even have the found. How can I even do that for anyone else when I haven't received it for myself? And to give that to myself instead. And that's when the emotions came to the surface. It's like, oh my God, I've never had that for myself. Of course, I'm trying to give away something that I haven't even got for myself, right? It's something like that. It's something, if you listen to what kind of drives you, of how you want to help people, that's the stuff. And once you figure that out, the emotions behind that can come through. That's the stuff that you're ignoring, and perhaps you're kind of not ignoring it because it's never been. Do you know what I mean? It's just never been there, but you're aware of it because you're trying to help other people with it. Anyway, let's get deeper into this. Your blocks to union. It's got something to do with like blocking you from union. Okay, and this one too. Okay. Got the Four of Swords, healing, yes, healing for you guys. And Knight of Swords, rushing into things. Okay, now, when we feel vulnerable, when we've got these vulnerabilities, we do tend to rush into things. It's like getting over a hump, getting over that vulnerability hump. Think of it this way. When there's an awkwardness between you, getting together with someone first of all, and there's an awkwardness between you and you just want it to get to that intimate stage, like fast, because then there won't be that awkwardness. Then there's like a false sense of intimacy between you. You might rush to sleep with someone and then you've got that feeling of closeness, but you're not really close. You don't really know each other, but you've got that chemical closeness, and that stops you feeling vulnerable. Even though then you're even more vulnerable, right? Once we do that, we realize we're not in a solid connection or anything like that. That doesn't take vulnerability away. It just takes that chemical away. It's like drinking alcohol. So you've been rushing into things because there's healing that needs to do. And rushing into it is like drinking alcohol for that confidence with social anxiety, that kind of thing. You got the Ten of Swords and the Seven of Swords. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. The Seven of Swords and the Ten of Swords. So then it feels like someone's lying to you when it ends, like they lied to you all along. Right? So, okay, So imagine this scenario. You meet someone, you're attracted to them, making you feel really, really nervous, really vulnerable. Like you don't like this feeling at all. You just want to get into this as fast as you can so that you don't feel that vulnerability anymore. So you sleep with them real fast. And then you've got this feeling of connection and everything. It's like, oh, good, I'm in this now. At last, I've met my person. And then you're kind of rushing the relationship. And then the things come up as they would, because that's just artificially getting into a relationship based on something, I don't know, some kind of a connection or attraction, and like winging it, hoping that they're going to be the right person for you. And then when it comes to the actual like development of the relationship in there, you find out the stuff about them that isn't it. And then you think they're lying to you as if they promised to you that they were the right person for you, because you rushed into it, which they didn't do. It ends and you're like dismayed, like, what? Why did they lie to me? Why were they this and that when there was no promises? So you change your mind about people, right? Then you change your mind about people, like, I thought they were this great person, and they turned out to be this terrible person. It's like, hang on a minute here. If that is even true, why are you getting into relationships with these terrible people? Why aren't you seeing it? Why aren't you taking it slower? Oh, you're not taking it slower because this is emotional stuff going on here. It's not that your picker's off. It's that you've got emotional stuff here that needs to be healed, that gets you moving into relationships too fast. And then it all goes downhill from there, because it can only go downhill from there, because you're getting into way too many. Because someone that would take it slower would never have got into those relationships that you did. You would have seen that before you actually got into it. You'd see the incompatibilities before you got into it. You'd see who they really were before you got into it. You need to see who someone really is before you get into a relationship with them. You don't have time for that because of these vulnerabilities have you taking action and getting into the relationship too fast, right? So your blocks to relationship are kind of weirdly an openness to relationship, but because you've been through all of this trouble, it might have you shutting down completely, like going, I don't want relationships because they're all bad. And it's like, no, they're not all bad. It's just the way that it's just that you've been getting into them too fast, so you end up with the ones that aren't right for you. It'd be like, going into a restaurant, you pick up the menu and you're just like, I want that one. You haven't even looked at the menu, you just like grabbing a pen and sticking it in the menu. How many times is that going to work out? Right, it might work out quite well in a restaurant, because restaurants generally are not serving up poison and all kinds of crap that isn't right for you, but they might do. You know what I mean? It's like you cannot just dash into something and expect to be choosing right. And trying to slow yourself down is going to be very difficult for you, because there's this emotional issue going on behind it, right? And so this might be your struggle. As I said, some of you might have shut down from relationship completely because you're just like, I just can't do this. It's too much for you. Like, be like me trying to go out. Well, I can now, but like before, when I had that social anxiety, me trying to go out without a drink was torture, absolute torture, because then I had to, like, the anxiety was there and I just had to like bypass it even more and ignore it without chemical help from the alcohol. So yeah, it's torture. It's difficult for you to get into a relationship because you need to allow the slowness to get in a relationship, and you've got emotional issues that are stopping that. Anyway, Four of Swords, so something needs to be healed to stop you rushing into these things. Stop you from feeling the need to rush into them. Ace of Materials and the Page of Voices. You need to like watch people for longer. Ace of Materials, so it can be a long-term thing. Yeah, we know. It's like, yeah, you need to slow things down. I think all the cards are going to keep on saying this now. You need to slow things down. But it's that crux of the issue, though, and I guess that's going to be personal, that emotional vulnerability. You've got sexual energy behind that, so it is the having sex too soon kind of thing. That's what you've been doing there, instead of like just waiting, checking someone out. Who are they? Seeing them in different situations, the character and all of that. Are they truly compatible with you? to be able to wait like that, you've got to have a lot of like self-confidence too. It's like, I know myself, I'm worthy of having in a relationship. In fact, I'm a prize, and they, if they don't persist, then no way they're worthy for me, right? If you're insecure, you're not going to do that. You're going to try and rush into things because you're thinking, well, they're going to go off with someone else. The right person for you is not going to go off with someone else, right? They're going to persist with you and they're going to try. I'm not talking about playing games and playing hard to get and stuff like that. I'm talking about taking your time and being self-assured. And if they do go off with someone else, then they weren't your person, you know? So there could be, yeah, insecurities here. Seven of Swords and Ten of Swords, and then and things, when it ends, it's painful because you think that they've lied to you. Chariot, you're pulled in two directions. Then it's like, why did I feel like so much for this person that wasn't right for me and all of that? And like, I'm so unlucky in love, tear myself apart, love these people so hard, and then they don't give me back what they should have given me back. And so yeah, it feels like you guys have got like this block to being in any kind of a relationship because you've not yet got to the point where you can do it slowly, slow enough to actually choose right for yourself. There's discernment behind that. It's your choice. It's your choosing process. It's your choosing process. None of us can choose like that, sticking a pin in it and to find the right one. None of us can do that. We don't do that. We don't do that in healthy relationships. What we do is we get to know people. We watch them for a while. That's what I do. Watch them for a while. Okay, show me who you are. Without being in relationship with them, just watching them. Going about, and interactions, I'll have interactions with them, but it's not romantic, and it's not sexual, and it's just like friendship first kind of thing, getting to know them, like, oh, it's like, you could be compatible with me. And then some of them will show themselves, no, they're not compatible with me. There's that fundamental thing that is different. And you see them in a different situation or interacting badly with someone else and think, no, that's not the one for me. I'm glad it wasn't the interaction with me then, you know. If I'd got involved with that person too soon, that bad interaction would have been with me, and I don't need that stuff. But you're watching someone for a while, planting those seeds, then at a certain point, it's going to move into the romantic. It's going to be like, you know, I think this one is for me. I don't see any red flags in this one, and we seem to be really compatible. At the same time, they will have been watching you and developing that too, and then going, you know what, maybe we should get together. And then you go on a date, and then it gets taken into the romance and all of that. So Hangman, you change your mind about people. But the trouble is that you've already got involved with them. Someone else wouldn't have already got involved with them. Sure, it can be disappointing when you've got your eye on someone and you've been watching them for a while and you think, you know what, this could be someone that's compatible with me. I'm attracted to them and all of that. And then you see the red flag. It's disappointing, but it's not the same as actually you're already being involved in them. That's really hard when you've already been involved in them. That's when you feel like, oh, they lied to me, or, you know, they should have been the right one. So then 8 of emotions, you walk away. 6 of emotions, the past. It's like, yeah, the walking away and like it leaves you with a load of baggage. You're like collecting so much baggage from the way that you're doing it. And of course, that baggage, it's heavy and it's going to stop you from getting into any kind of a relationship, really. Sacred space. There's a need to take your sacred space. Your own space, being your own space. Which I think is probably where you're at, right? Dismayed by all kinds of relationships. But it's really important to know that, you know, nobody can choose someone just like that. That's not what healthy people do. We don't just come across someone and go, this is my person, and then sleep with them straight away, and then it turns out that they are the right person. That's not the way that we do it. We do it slowly, really slowly. And that shows that when you're really, truly ready for a healthy relationship, when you will do it slowly, when you'll meet people, and you could be dating a lot of people. Yeah, you could be dating people to get to know them as well. Doesn't make it romantic straight away, like going on to dinner with someone. More often than not, it's not romantic. And dating, and it's like Some of them great people, but there's nothing there between us. You know, it's okay. You can still get to know people to see if they are. But you're not going to know on the first date. You're going to know on the first date whether you want a second date. You're going to know on the second date whether you want a third date. You're going to know on the third date whether you want a fourth date. Right? Not like you'll know they're the one for you. Dating to get to know, to get to know someone, to see if they are, not to try and get them into bed. A lot of people are doing that, right? Dating to try and get someone into bed. We're still try and make that to be a relationship from it. Forgiveness. Stop focusing your energy on past events, for life is too precious to waste. Your heart's too precious to waste too. You create your reality by what you think, dream and imagine. So focused on the crap that's happened to you, expecting the crap, expecting more crap. I mean, it will keep on happening to you if you keep on doing the same things, for sure. But this is saying, like, you're still you're focused on the path too much, as if you're a victim to it, as if there's no way you could have done things differently, of just being unlucky, and why you always handed the bad card. And that's not true. That is not true. It's just the way you're doing it. And reflection, give each other some space at the moment. Give yourself space at the moment. Trust and have faith that all will work out for the best. Give yourself space. You know, and if you do slow things down and give yourself space, that vulnerability is going to come up. And if you feel it and you're just like, oh, this feeling doesn't feel good, let me delve into this. Like, what is that? What is behind that? When have I felt this feeling before? When did I first feel this feeling? What's really behind that? What's making me feel so insecure that I'm in these patterns in the first place? What is that vulnerability that I want to kind of ignore and not look at? And, you know, you might want to work with a therapist on this. It's beyond the scope of this general reading, of course. Even the deeper dive, you know, that stuff that's beneath the surface, that's going to be very individual to each of you. Not the stuff of these readings, more the stuff of private readings. But probably more so the stuff of working with a therapist on it. Let your fears dissolve. So fears around relationship. You see, let your fears dissolve. It's not the same thing as ignoring those fears and getting into a relationship too fast. I don't think fears dissolve. I think we look at them. Fears don't dissolve from us ignoring them. That we need to directly confront them, you know. I used to be afraid of spiders. And then I held a tarantula. I just felt this compulsion to do it, you know. I was at this event and there was a tarantula there in a cage. And I'm like, can I hold it? And they said, yeah, once everyone is gone, stick around till the end. Once everyone's gone. And they taught me all about this spider and let it walk on my hand. And I'm not afraid of spiders anymore. I'm not a great fan of them either, but I'm not afraid of them anymore. And it took like confronting that fear, not ignoring it. Ignoring it doesn't go away. And in fact, ignoring them and kind of trying to bypass them, it just gets worse and worse and worse. That's what I found with my drinking too. Did more and more drink to get over the anxiety, and then the next day I would be even more anxious, even more socially anxious, and it's just not worth it. It gets worse and worse and worse. Rejection. Fearing rejection, perhaps. And what that means. Should be able to get anybody and everybody to love us, right? That's too much of an ask. That everyone should be able to love us and be in a relationship with us. Well, very unique, very individual. Someone that's right for me wouldn't be right for you. Someone that's right for you wouldn't be right for me. We've got to know ourselves and then know what it is that we're looking for, and know, you know, and then look for that. So you got a guarded heart, yes. Got a mistake, gone down the wrong path before, chosen wrong, gone down the wrong path, too far down the wrong path. See, See this? There was already a sign here saying cars don't go there, but they went there anyway, and they got down that path, and it's like, no, like the signs were there. The sign was there. Why didn't you stop there and turn around? What compelled you to keep on going down that on a path that where you already had the signs that it wasn't right? Got intimacy and lovers. Again, there's that feeling like of rushing in to that intimacy stage, being lovers with someone, like that guarantees you anything. It doesn't. You're still vulnerable when you're in that stage. Even more so, like I said. Even more so if they're in your life and they've got access to you, your stuff, your heart, your bed. You're even more vulnerable then because you don't know who it is that you've let in. Like someone that you've just met. Access to you in your life and your stuff. No. They got to earn that stuff. Right to be in your life. Have access to you and everything that you've got. Simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. You could be susceptible to kindness. I don't know why kindness has come out there. Okay. Let's get some cards out for you. Some message cards from someone from the past. Or perhaps current person at the moment for you. Messages from someone that is on Shell's mind. Our story isn't over yet. I will find my way back to you one day. Soulmate. So there's someone here feeling like that is soulmate and that it isn't over yet. I'm afraid of losing you. This might be an emotional attachment. Could be like wound mate kind of thing. Two people clinging to each other because of difficulties that you're having in relationships. Passion and desire. Got passion and desire for you. I just don't think with these energies, if this is your reading, with all these energies that I'm picking up on, that you're ready for the right one yet. I doubt that you'll have met the right one yet with these energies. I can't stand the thought of you with someone else. A kind of possessive kind of talk there. So you might feel like there's someone in the past there that could have been right for you or righter than the other people. It still feels like there's like anxiety behind it to me anyway. And like I say, I don't think if this reading is yours, you're not ready for a healthy relationship yet. You will be, but you're not ready yet. So I very much doubt you've actually met the one that's right for you. Well, if that sounds like it is your story, it could be your story, want it to be your story. You might want to get that deeper dive for even more. In that, I'm going to give you guidance for you in the situation you find yourself in right now. So what now then? What is the guidance for this? What should you do? Guidance for you, let me see. Relationship that you've got coming. Let's do that. The relationship that you've got coming. Once you're together. I wonder if I can do this slightly differently, in fact. I'm going to go into that beneath the surface and that emotional thing. See if we can get deeper on that, because not all of you are going to come with me to that deeper dive read. So those that do, we can probably get a little bit narrowed in on what that emotional issue is. Then I want to get into like how this might play out if you've got someone coming in, and how that might play out, kind of thing. What's next? That's what I'll go into. What's next for you, like the next stage of this learning. It's probably best to do that. And so if you are interested in that, I'll pop a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. It's 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars right now, and it's an instant watch kind of a thing. You do need to type your email address in very carefully, because if you get that wrong, you will not receive it. Now the email, it might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, your junk, or your promotions folder, so do check in those places. In that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on the shell on your device that you can open PDFs with. In that PDF, amongst other things, you'll see a picture of a video, and when you click on that, if it doesn't take you right away to a video, just try it on a different device and it will. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like. Before you click off down there, click that subscribe button on that if you're new, and please share my video to other people that might be interested in too. Let's get this YouTube channel out there. I'd be very much appreciative of all of that. And if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with all of this. If you're coming with me to that deeper dive read, then I'll see you in there very shortly.